Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about setting up your layers for your drawings. There are instructions for this in your textbook on page 8-9, but I'd like you to take a look at this video because I think it'll help you with some questions you may have. So when it comes to layers, the whole idea of layers is that it allows us to categorize the things that we have on the screen. It can give us uniform line types among different layers and allow us to turn layers on and off as needed. So if I want to see what layers are available, I can go to layer properties, and you can see I have a long list of layers here. This is what I'm going to have you create. If you have layers that are in here by default, I think layer 0 is the one that's in by default, and you can create as many layers as you like. You can see that I have a bunch of them in here, and they all have different names. I have center lines, construction lines, cutting plane lines, dimensions, hidden lines, object lines, section lines, title block lettering, and viewport. So all of those different layers are layers on which I can place geometry. So the active layer that I have is currently layer 0. That's the default layer. If I want to create something on a layer, I can switch my active layer. You can see 0 is selected now. And let's say I want to draw an object line. That's the typical lines that I would use for the edges of a drawing. So I'll just go ahead and draw some lines. And you can see that these lines are going to take on the properties of that layer. So the object lines are blue, they're continuous, and they have a line weight of 0.6. All right, once again, you can find the information for this on page 8-9 in the textbook if you want to see what all of your layers should look like. I'd like you to make the layers look like this. To create a new layer, and this is what you'll have to do to add these different layers, you'll click on this little tool right here for creating a new layer. So when I create a new layer, you can see that it gives me layer 1. I'll just call this test. And then on the test layer, I can select the color. So you can see there are lots of different colors you can pick from. I can select the line type. There automatically will be some loaded line types in here, but if you click on load, you'll find lots more line types, and you'll find the different line types that you'll need for each layer. So there's a lot more than what just automatically comes up here if you go to load. For line weight, if you select the line weight, you can scroll up and down and select all the different line weights that are available to you there. And those are the things that you'll need to know for your layer. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this one because I don't really want it. Okay, so I have all these different layers, and let's say that I want to add, I don't know, we'll put a center line in. Okay, so you can see I switched to center line. And I'm going to go ahead and just draw a line through the center of this object. And you can see that it adds that center line on the center line layer. If you want to change the layer of a line or any object, you can click on it and then select the different layer. And you can see that by the change in color, it automatically changes the layer. All right, so this is how you're going to go ahead and use different types of lines by using layers in AutoCAD. Also, one more thing, if you want to make something invisible, so let's say I have this construction line, I want to make it invisible. I'm going to go on to center lines because I can't do this one with the active layer. So if I want to make the construction lines invisible, I can click on the light bulb and it'll go away. I can bring it back, but sometimes you'll get so many lines on your drawings that you might want to turn layers on and off. So if you ever want to do that, you can use the light bulb. You can't do that if it's an active layer. You can see you get this error message. So you can only do that with one that's not currently selected. So if I go to center lines, then I can turn that construction back on without an error. All right, so that's how you can go ahead and create layers and also allow those layers to change the way your geometry looks. And one additional thing I want to mention about line types, you can see that here I have a center line. It shows a center line type with the long and short dashes. If you want to change the way they look, sometimes depending on the scale of your drawing, your line types might not be spaced the way that you like the way they look. You can type in a command to scale the line type. It's called LT scale for line type scale. So if I want to give a new scale for my line type, I can just type in a number and it'll either increase or decrease the scale of the line type. So that'll change the way you see the dashes in the line type. When I type in LT scale, if I change the scale factor to 0.5, I'll see a lot more dashes. So it really depends on the scale of your drawing, what you want the line type scale to be. There's no specific scale that I'm going to have you do for each drawing. Basically, as long as it looks good, it is good. So you can play around with the line type scale if for some reason your line types don't look right. Sometimes if you have like a super small drawing, your line type might look like a solid line when it's supposed to be a center line. So LT scale is what will get you to allow you to change that line type scale to see it the way you want to see it.